I think that the best things in life that we own are the things that we've had for years that we just don't even really think about anymore. Because if we don't think about it anymore, it means that that thing has integrated itself so deep into our lives that it's become essential. And while it's easy to yearn after a new pair of shoes or a fancier BMW than your next door neighbors, the things that we don't even think about anymore are the real treasures. What's up, I'm Zach, and I've been a minimalist for the past 10 years, and I'm really super picky about the things that I let into my life and the things that I keep. It's actually kind of a problem where I get rid of too much stuff and then I end up having to buy it again. But here's 10 things that I've owned for years as a minimalist that have proven their worth over time. Biking is a huge part of my life, so I like to spend a pretty good amount of money on my bikes, and I've even had this bike over here for the past 10 years, and now it's become just like a bike that gets passed around. If you guys don't know me from my main channel is actually about bikes, and that's how I've make the bulk of my living. And while I haven't owned this specific bike, I've owned the same model of this bike for the past 7 years, and it's been my main bike just because it's so much fun to ride. And I love biking so much that I actually don't even need to own a car. And I like to do things on my bike because I just hate driving so much that even if it's something as stupid and inconvenient as like taking my drum kit out on my bike, I would rather do that than drive a car. Biking has immeasurably improved my life to the point where just talking about bikes on the internet and riding my bike has become my career, which I am very fortunate to be able to say that. And it's become such a big part of me that it's something that I will never give up. I will never get rid of all of my bikes. And every day that I ride my bike, whether it's for 5 minutes or 100 miles, it does make my day better and it puts me in a better mood. It just improves my life. And going along with the YouTube theme is my camera, because this thing makes me money. And I've had this Canon EOS R for the past 4 years now, and I have absolutely no desire to upgrade it. It's just a really fantastic camera. It looks really sharp. And the main thing for me is that this allows me to document my life and to make YouTube videos so that I can make money. It's just become such like an extension of my hand at this point. And I'm just now realizing that there was a weird amount of tech on my list, because tech is something that people normally upgrade every few years. And while I haven't had this for super long, I've had this M1 MacBook Pro for the past 3 years. But I've edited so many hundreds of videos on this thing, I've lost count at this point. I've started my second channel, which is the channel you're watching right now on this thing. And it's just been a beast of a computer to the point where I also just don't feel like I need to upgrade it ever until it dies. Screen is really awesome, even though I'm running it to a monitor right now. The keyboard is good. Everything is super reliable. I don't have to deal with stupid Windows updates and the hot mess that Windows 11 is. It's really efficient. The battery life is great, and it handles editing like a champ. And yeah, I just have no reason to ever upgrade this thing in terms of like a work machine. The only reason that I would buy another computer is if like I want a PC for gaming or something, but I plan on running this thing into the ground. And again, with the weird amount of tech on this list, it's just my iPhone 12 mini. I've had this phone for how long? 4 years? I've had my phone for 4 years. Look, okay, so tech is something that I usually get excited about and that I like to keep up to date and know what's going on in the tech world just because it's interesting to me. But in the past like 2 to 3 years, I've really stopped caring because tech has really plateaued. And even though companies try to sell us a new phone every year, I hang on to my old iPhone 12 mini because I like the form factor. I like that it fits in my hand and fits in my pocket, and I can reach the top of the screen easily. And they don't make this size of phone anymore. And the reason I wanted a smaller phone was so I would spend less time on it, and that has certainly worked. And my relationship with my phone changed a little bit with the iPhone 12 mini because I just use it as a tool, and I use it in a way that it serves me. So I use it for Google Maps, I use it for email, I use it for contacting people, and that's pretty much it. Any media consumption normally takes place on my computer, which is just a more productive way of consuming things in my experience, and also less of a time sink because I won't be spending 30 minutes just scrolling through Instagram while pooping. And same thing with my MacBook Pro. I plan on running my iPhone 12 mini into the ground. I haven't even done a battery replacement on this thing yet, and I still find the battery life is perfectly fine because I don't use my phone very heavily. And it still does everything I need to do. It still communicates. The video looks just fine, and I frequently use the photos and videos from this thing on both of my YouTube channels professionally, as in I make money from it. And I don't want to give this up because I don't want to go back to having this big glass brick tipping out of my back pocket every time I get up from a chair. This next one's kind of gonna come out of left field, but it's this right here. I've had this cajon. A cajon is a percussive instrument for the past 10 years. I originally got this thing because my church wanted me to start playing cajon for them, which, if you're a church, stop making drummers play cajon. We don't want to play cajon. I would rather play the bongos. That would be more fun. It was just like an $80 box to smack. And then even after I stopped playing cajon for church, it's just stuck around because cajon literally means box. There's so many things that you could just do with a box. Like right now it's just a side table for our internet router. And before that, it was just a side table for my bed that just sits on the floor. You know, despite being a musical instrument, it actually makes an excellent piece of furniture. It's really well made. It's like made in the USA. And on those rare occasions where somebody busts out an acoustic guitar, I can still use it as an acoustic level volume instrument. Again with the tech, weirdly enough. And it's my Nintendo Switch. So I bought the Switch in 2018, and I didn't really understand why somebody would want a Nintendo Switch until I played a little bit of my brother's Switch playing Breath of the Wild in handheld mode. And I was like, okay, I get this thing, and I bought one immediately. And this might be changing now that the Switch 2 was announced, but I've had this for 7 years, and there's still tons of games that I've yet to play that I still want to play on this, and I don't feel the need to upgrade to a Switch 2 until there's like a significant catalog of games ready for me to just jump into, which won't be probably for another 2 or 3 years. I might have this thing for 10 years, which is kind of crazy to think about a game console lasting that long, but even if I do get a Switch 2, I mean, it's more like when. I will still keep this around. It still works. There's still tons of games that I like playing on it. And also it's just kind of like a nostalgia factor because this thing has been with me through living in how many countries? 4 countries. This thing got me through COVID, and it allowed me to help maintain my relationship with my brother who lives in Japan, and also with my friends who are up in like Canada and down in Florida. And I think that we live in an amazing time where we don't even feel the need to upgrade to the next best thing in technology because the things that we have today, or the things that we've had for 7 to 8 years, are still plenty good enough. My rainbows are the most comfortable sandals that I have ever worn, and I originally bought these in Pacifica here in Northern California, which is like a cool little surfing spot, because one of my cheapo sandals, the little strap like popped out, and I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to buy the nice thing so I don't have to buy a bunch of different flip-flops every single year every time I go to the beach. And while these were expensive, they were like, I think 60 or 70 bucks at the time I bought them, like as much as a pair of sneakers cost. They were well worth it because it's been 8 years. They have conformed to my feet like perfectly. You guys are getting the free OnlyFans content right here. Look at those feet. And they've been super durable, and it's just something that I don't even have to think about like wearing out. 8-year flip-flops, pretty sick. About 5 years ago when I was in Thailand, I decided to treat myself and get some clothes tailor-made. And one of the best things about my trip to Thailand, but I got this shirt tailor-made, and luckily it still fits because I got it made like 5 years ago. and it costs like 30 bucks or something. Like, as cheap or if not cheaper than like fast fashion off the rack in the US. And I got to choose the material, the buttons, and exactly how it fits. And whenever I throw this shirt on, it makes me feel rich. I originally had 3 of these shirts made, but I realized that I don't dress so formally anymore, and I don't go to enough formal events that I only really need 1 of these for those special occasions. But getting clothes not just tailored, but custom made for me from a good tailor has really showed me how good clothes can be, and it's also like increased my standards for clothes that I buy. It is a little tighter now. Maybe I've gained a little weight. I hope it's muscle and not just getting fatter. It's probably just getting fatter. I've had this for 7 years now. This is my daily sling bag. If I just need to go out for a day and I don't need to carry too much stuff, but it's too much to carry in my pockets, this is the bag that I take with me. And I originally got this bag for free from this company called Chrome. They mostly make cyclist-focused gear. And it's the best bag I've ever used because it's the perfect size where you can carry everything you need but not being too bulky. And it's really convenient because you could just sling it around your shoulder and then access it easily on or off the bike. And then I really like that it has this little strap so that when you're riding a bike, it doesn't swing around. And the other cool thing is that it has this buckle, so you can get it over your helmet really easily, and it's really comfortable. And I've thought of getting rid of this bag so many times or having it repaired or whatever just because it's so worn, but I've just decided to accept it. Like this strap is kind of coming apart, but I think that's a really cool thing about stuff is that once they start to show their wear and take on their own character, it's like, this is a story right here. This bag and I have been through so many things together, and that is irreplaceable, and it can, wear its chip on its shoulder, so to speak, and I'll wear the bag on my shoulder.